So in the clip that we've just watched and listened to, I was playing on a very simple chord progression, 2 minor seventh chords, a minor third apart. But hopefully all the phrases and all the lines sounded as if they were comfortable and natural within the rhythm. The rhythm is the aspect that we're going to look at today, and we are looking at 5/4 time. We're looking at some strategies and concepts to get your playing to feel more natural in an odd time signature. The reason that time signatures are called odd, which is a slight misnomer, is the fact that the amount of beats in the bar doesn't divide by 2 or 3. And most of the time we spend playing and improvising in either 4/4 time or maybe 3/4, but our world is kind of saturated with 4/4 time. So we feel very comfortable playing in 4/4. We probably don't even think about it as any kind of intellectual exercise. We just kind of do it. Whereas when we go to 5/4, we have an extra beat to deal with. So that gives us the rhythm a completely different kind of natural cadence. So we need to work within that. So we're going to look at various strategies for playing in 5/4 time, different methods of breaking it up, looking at the rhythm in different ways. And so you'll need some chord scale theory for the improvising on the chords, but also some notational skills would be really helpful to be able to visualize the kind of things that are going on as well. If you don't have those, you'll still be able to take the ideas, and the ideas that we work on in 5/4 are also completely transferable to any other odd time signature. I'm going to work through various concepts, some of which are really simple, and then we're going to move on, but then move back and combine different concepts so that we get more sophisticated ideas and develop our strategies for playing in 5/4 time and in fact any other odd time. I think it's really good to be able to manipulate material in a very kind of strict, disciplined, rational way. And if you can do that, then ultimately you will be able to create in a more free, kind of spontaneous way when you're improvising. So a lot of what we're going to do in this video is look at where to play rather than what to play. I think this is a really important aspect to look at. So we're going to start really simply and look at the fact that we have 5 beats and we have 5 offbeats. So we're just limiting our scope to crotchets and quavers. But that gives us 10 points in the bar where we can either play individual notes or we can start phrases. And being able to manipulate your ideas so you can start a phrase at any of those 10 points in the bar is really useful. An idea that's really great for getting familiar with 5/4, or in fact any odd time signature, is the idea of the clave, which comes from Latin music, and that means the key. So within a time signature like 5/4, there is a natural kind of cadence in the rhythm. And this can be the bar split into 3 beats and 2 beats, or 2 beats and 3 beats. And then within that, you have a rhythm that emphasizes that natural cadence. So in the most common version, which is 3 beats and then 2 beats, like Take 5 by Dave Brubeck or Riverman by Nick Drake, there's the 3 beats and then the 2 beats. And the 3 beats are split into 2 dotted crotchets, which actually makes it like 6/8. And then the 2 beats is just 2 crotchets. So the idea is to get familiar with that clave rhythm. And once you have that to play off, it makes the rhythm have a more natural kind of ebb and flow. So here we go with 5 beats on the metronome. And then here's the simple clave. And then the next thing to do with that rhythm, which again I would suggest doing just as I did there, just clapping the rhythm rather than necessarily doing it on your instrument, to get some of these rhythms kind of internalized and to do the manipulation of these rhythms, is to start displacing the clave by a quaver. So that's just taking the idea, moving it back by half a beat, by a quaver beat. And then you would carry on doing that process until you get back to where you started. So going back again to the first concept of those 10 possible points in the bar, just moving the clave to each one of those points. So I'll just demonstrate by doing the first displacement for you, where first of all I'll start with the original clave and then I will move it by a quaver. And you'll see how different that rhythm feels. And developing these things really gives you a flexibility within the rhythm. Original clave. And then if I displace that by a quaver, and then just be aware of coming back to the onto the beat. And if you go through that process and get really familiar and comfortable with those and be able to play those rhythms strongly in time but still knowing where the one is, that really helps with your rhythmic flexibility. We're going to combine some of these concepts now, and we're also going to introduce a third concept, which is the idea of diminution. So that's taking an idea that is, say, 2 crotchets rhythmically and shortening that to 2 quavers, and that process can carry on to become 2 semiquavers. And the reason I'm saying that is that if you take a very concise musical idea and manipulate that throughout the bar, you can start to get some really nice compositional ideas. So we'll take the 2-beat idea, we'll displace it, we'll maybe shorten the note values and things like that. So we'll have the flexibility to move that phrase around the 10 starting points in the bar, and then we will hopefully get into some kind of improvisational flow from there. If you want to listen to somebody who's really a master at this, then you can listen to any Sonny Rollins recording from the mid-50s onwards. He is an absolute genius with this kind of cellular type of improvising, where he'll just take an idea of 1 or 2 notes, 3 notes, and just move them around. And he's really amazing with this facility, just to have that rhythmic flexibility. So what I'll do next is I'll just play a very short example using that idea of 2 notes, different places in the bar, and then I will change the rhythmic value here and there. So hopefully you'll have seen from that short example the potential for just working with a very small idea and manipulating that idea. And of course the choice of notes is entirely up to you, and that's something that you can work with spontaneously, but you can get a really long way developing your improvising using those concepts and those ideas. The next thing to do from there would obviously be to look at expanding those ideas into groups of 3 notes, groups of 4 notes, and so on. And I think that would be really fruitful to do that from a notational aspect, and just look at the permutations of where those 3 notes can be adjacent places in the bar. So it could be 3 crotchets, 3 quavers, and so on. And you can probably already imagine the possibilities that unfolds. So I would spend a good bit of time doing that, and then obviously work those into some kind of practical improvising practice. So this would be a good time to discuss what we're going to play as well as where we're going to play. And as a very kind of basic idea, the pentatonic scale is a great place to start here because it has 5 notes and we're working in a rhythm that has 5 beats. So we can see how that would fit really in a simple and straightforward way. So I will do a short playing example where I use this scale, but I would say that as well as running up and down it, which is good again from the point of view of manipulation, you know, you can play one note for each beat of the bar, you can play quavers or semiquavers into different octaves and so on. But one thing to do is, because the pentatonic sound is so strong, you can work within that on a very simple level and then just add some more rhythmic ideas as you kind of feel them kind of spontaneously. So work with the pentatonics. There are also other options for pentatonics on these chords, which is something that, again, if you've got some chord scale knowledge, you can look at. So on the A minor 7th chord, for instance, we could play an E minor pentatonic, which will give us some nicer notes. So I'll maybe do some of that as well. But this will just be a short example of using the pentatonic scale, starting simply and then using some more kind of broken up and hopefully more musical ideas. Hopefully you can see by that, just with the simple pentatonic scale, how much flexibility and how much mileage and musical material you can get out of that. But it goes without saying that you can also use heptatonic scales, you know, major scales, minor scales, modes, that kind of thing, and investigate how those would work and how those would fit in 5/4 time. So again, spending some time with, as a paper exercise, just looking at how that fits, trying things out. And obviously within those scales too, you can extract lots of arpeggios, all the kind of diatonic arpeggios that you would play from those modes. So you've got lots and lots of material to manipulate. I'm going to conclude with a short improvisation. Hopefully in some kind of organic way, some of the concepts that we've discussed will just kind of appear in the improvisation. But one thing I would say is it's really important to get together and practice and play through these concepts with other musicians, and obviously they will bring their own ideas to the table as well, and you can kind of share and discuss the ways that you're working on things. I really can't stress the conversational aspect of improvising with other musicians enough. And you can do it in a way where you're actually specifically practicing certain ideas, or you can just do it spontaneously, or any kind of combination of both. But that playing music together is really kind of what it's all about. The dialogue, the interaction, whether it's just with one other musician or with a whole group, is really a great thing to do. So hopefully you'll get the chance to do that. And thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you've got some useful ideas from here, and have fun.